Buddy was once a trembling dog who knew only cruelty from his owner, Carl. Kicks, hunger, and a cold chain. But everything changed when Mia saw the fear in his eyes and chose to save him. With patience and love, she helped him heal, teaching him that not all hands bring pain. From hiding under beds to comforting sick children as a therapy dog, Buddy's journey proves that even the deepest wounds can heal. This is the story of how one broken heart learned to love again. The metal chain bit into Buddy's neck as he strained against it, his paws scrambling against the cracked concrete of the backyard. The late autumn wind howled, cutting through his patchy fur. He'd been left outside again. No food, no water, just the cold and the distant laughter from inside the house. Carl, his owner, hadn't always been cruel. When Buddy was a puppy, there had been moments of affection, rough pats on the head, scraps from the table. But as the years passed, Carl's temper grew shorter. A bark meant a kick. A misstep meant a yank on the chain. Buddy learned to make himself small, to disappear into the shadows of the porch. Tonight was worse than usual. Carl had come home smelling like sour bitterness, his words slurred. When Buddy, desperate for any scrap of attention, had nudged his hand, Carl had roared and swung. The blow sent Buddy sprawling, his hip exploding in white-hot pain. He barely made it to his makeshift shelter, a broken plastic crate, before collapsing. "Why doesn't he love me?" Buddy whimpered into the dark. Mia was late for class. Again. She sprinted down the sidewalk, her backpack thumping against her shoulders, when a flicker of movement caught her eye. Behind a rusted fence, a dog lay curled in the dirt, so still she thought he might be dead. Then his ribs shuddered, a weak, trembling breath. Her stomach dropped. Without thinking, Mia unlatched the gate, broken like everything else here, and knelt in the mud. The dog, a terrier mix maybe, flinched violently when she reached out. His eyes were huge, whites showing, his body braced for another blow. "Hey, hey, it's okay," she whispered, her voice cracking. Up close, the damage was worse. Open sores, a leg held at an odd angle. Carl's voice boomed from the house. "The hell you doing?" Mia's pulse roared in her ears, but she didn't back down. "This your dog?" "Yeah, and—" "He's starving," Carl spat. "Ain't your business." Something inside Mia snapped. She yanked off her hoodie, wrapped it around Buddy's trembling body, and lifted him. "It is now." The emergency vet's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Dr. Alvarez rattled off injuries. Fractured hip, healed improperly, signs of repeated malnutrition, these scars on his back. Mia squeezed her eyes shut. "Just tell me he'll be okay. He's strong, but it's not just his body that's hurt." That night in Mia's tiny apartment, Buddy hid under her bed for hours. She left a trail of kibble leading to a plush dog bed, bought on credit, a bowl of water, and finally a piece of roasted chicken. At 3 a.m., she woke to warm breath on her fingers. Buddy stood beside her bed, chicken gone, his tail tucked, but his eyes locked on hers. Mia held her breath. Slowly, so slowly, she reached out. Buddy flinched, but this time, he didn't run. Progress wasn't linear. Some days Buddy wagged when Mia came home, his whole body wiggling. Other days, the slam of a car door sent him bolting into the closet. Then came the thunderstorm. Mia found Buddy panting, trapped in the bathtub, the only place that felt safe, his claws scraping porcelain. She crawled in beside him, soaking her jeans, and hummed until his shaking slowed. "You're safe," she murmured over and over. "I've got you." 6 months later, Mia and Buddy jogged past Carl's house. Buddy froze, his muscles locked, his breath coming in sharp bursts. Carl leered from the porch. "That my dog?" Mia felt Buddy's tremors through the leash. She knelt, blocking Carl from view, and pressed her forehead to Buddy's. "You're mine," she whispered. "You choose." Buddy stared at her, then with a sudden, decisive sniff, he turned, away from Carl toward the park, toward home. Years later, a gray-muzzled Buddy padded through a children's hospital, his vest reading, "Please pet me." A little girl with IV tubes reached out. Buddy leaned in, licking her fingers gently. Mia watched, her heart full. The broken dog who'd flinched at shadows now healed hearts. That night, as Buddy snored on her pillow, yes, he'd claimed it, Mia kissed his nose. Best decision I ever made, she whispered. And in his sleep, Buddy's tail thumped. On Buddy's last day, warm, quiet, surrounded by love, Mia buried her face in his fur. Thank you, she sobbed, for trusting me. His paw twitched against her hand, as if to say, always. Years after Buddy's passing, Mia sat on the floor of her rescue shelter, surrounded by wagging tails and hopeful eyes. A scruffy terrier mix, newly saved from a chain much like Buddy's once was, pressed his wet nose into her palm. As his timid lick brushed her skin, Mia smiled through tears, knowing Buddy's legacy lived on in every life she touched. Somewhere beyond the wind chimes by the window, she could almost hear the familiar thump-thump of a tail against the floor, a reminder that love, once given, never truly leaves.